Hello, it's Sharon. How are you? It's Friday. Yay! I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Sharon, the accidental art maker. I am so happy it's Friday. I'm so glad you're taking time to watch this. I really appreciate it. Just tucking away my phone, so hopefully it doesn't buzz or go off. Anyways, welcome again. I just decided I had posted a meme last night that was really funny. It was old projects. Marla. Marla and I are buddies. Hey Marla. Yeah, so I had posted this meme last night, Marla, on Facebook, and it was really funny. It was like this woman, she's reaching out to this baby at the side of the pool, and the baby is the new idea, and then up front, close to the camera, is this kid who's struggling in the water, and it's that project that is listed as old project, the baby's new project, and then there's like this cutoff, and it shows like a Disney World scene of like somebody who's been in the bottom of the ocean for a very long time, and that's like really old project. So I have an unfinished project here, and I thought it would be fun to finish it with you guys. I started thinking about the series called Finish It Friday. So anyways, we'll see if I can remember that the next time Friday swings around, and we can have a Finish It Friday episode. But let's get to it. Let me. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, can you hear me okay? I'm using a new mic. So, Marla, can you write in yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. And as you guys are joining, let me know if you're watching this on the replay. And if you're watching now, let me know if you, oh, good. John, my husband, says yes, that you guys can hear me. And Marla says, that sounds like you guys can hear me okay. Well, wonderful. So hopefully it's going through the mic. And my husband, who's my tech guy, says, I can hear you. Sounds great. Yay. I usually do my own tech, but when it comes, he's been doing online stuff. All kinds of stuff with cameras and mics. So he knows how to set this up better than me. So thank you, John. You're dismissed. Go ship something. He knows I'm kidding. He's my master of shipping. So he's the one who's bringing your packages to the post office because I'm usually working during the day. So anyways, thanks, John. I do appreciate your help. So Finish It Friday. I've got a piece here that I want to work on. I'm going to just go ahead and get us there. Okay. Push this out of the way. Okay. So if you've been following me at all, then this may look familiar to you. I know, Marla, you've seen me working on this. I'm just lowering my workstation here a little bit, and I'm going to move the camera around, hopefully without knocking that off. Okay, so I've got this piece that's like, I don't know, 3x2, and I had planned on putting decoupage paper down on it. I had this at one point, all these ripped up pieces of paper, and I made this really cool trail through the angels. But for Finish It Friday, I'm like, I'm gonna go to my go-to favorite, which is Brocante. And because Brocante, I've never put on anything bright and colorful before. So I thought, well, let's give it a try. And then my backup is exploration. I have transfers in here that have been sitting around for a while, so maybe I could use that too. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to use Brocante, and I am going to get going here. I might move the camera around. Yeah, so there's so much here. I know that I want as many flowers as possible. So I'm just going to be cutting out things. I might want some words. I'm going to put this to the side. I know I want the Eiffel Tower. I don't know. For some reason, I was remembering this woman right here. I'll cut her out and show you. I was remembering her being bigger. It's probably just my brain. Okay, so I got the Eiffel Tower here. And I'll put that to the side. And then this very innocent looking woman who has she looks like, now that I'm looking at her closer, her clothes are falling off. Maybe she's not so innocent with those rosy cheeks. All right, let's see. I might want that clock, but then there's also a clock that's a little bit more prominent. And I know I want this huge rose, and I probably want these insects as well. So I'm going to cut these out here. So while I'm doing this and I'm going through things, let me tell you a little bit about myself. If you're joining for the first time, my name is Sharon. I've been upcycling furniture for over 10 years. I started out with Annie Sloan chalk paint and stencils, and then I discovered IOD probably about 4 years ago now. And fast forward to 2 years ago, and I opened my business called Accidental Art Maker, and I started selling these products because I love them so much, and other products, not just IOD. I'm going to point this down a little bit more because when I use them, they help my art. I don't know. They're just like, I love using them and they make me happy. And I really believe that I like doing all kinds of different pieces. I started out doing the big pieces of furniture, and then I started actually doing more smalls when I got into IOD. So see this. I think this would look super cool on here with the angels kind of floating in the background. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of going to town with this transfer. And so let me show you guys that. That's pretty big. All right. I'm not sure about words. I'm putting anything with words off the side. If you know this transfer, then you know these birds. These birds are very familiar to you. And I think they would look fantastic here. Brocante is right up there. It's one of the best selling transfers. It is up there with Whispering Willow. And what else? I think it's the Potts transfer. Yeah, those are very popular. The one's kind of like a label. Those are some of the very, very popular ones. But, and Ephemeral Melange is another super popular one that I don't think they'll ever retire. Let me get in here. So come on, Sharon. Let's get in here. Let's see. I'm just going to say hi to Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Yeah, Marla says they look like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. There's 2 sets of birds. I forgot about that. Gosh, I haven't worked with this transfer for a while, but that would look cool, huh? Them looking up at the angels. All right. And so I'm cutting things out here, and then we're going to go into looking at our composition and how we want our page to look. All right, so I'm getting more birds here. Give me one sec. I'm going to leave the chickens for another special project. These are the chickens. I had fun with these chickens a while ago on Valentine's Day. I called them Chickens in Love. We'll see. I'm going to cut out the bees. I'm putting my insects over to the left over here. But yeah, what does Brocante look like with bright boho colors? We're going to find out. All right, and now I got this big, beautiful rose here. The roses and the birds and the Eiffel Tower, how do we arrange them? How do we arrange them on this 3x2 board? Is there a story that we're trying to tell? And I mean, the story could just be Sharon wants to finish this artwork, right? It's Finish It Friday. Okay, let me pull you guys back a little bit here so you can see. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you dizzy there. Okay, so we can see. Let me get my chair out of the way here, just so you guys can kind of scan it. So you can kind of see what I'm working with here. All right, so we're gonna start down here so from left to right. I'm gonna leave the bugs. So there, these bugs, I'm gonna leave them for last. I want to figure out what my focal point is. So I got lots of flowers. I got the birds down here. I got this awesome, amazing Paris clock. I mean, that could just go off center just a little bit with the angels will shine through. I've got over here, I could have flowers around the time. I've got these smaller little things of flowers. I'll cut off those words. I got the Eiffel Tower over here. So I've got things with lots of color, and I've got things like the clock and the Eiffel Tower here that don't have much color, which is totally fine, right? So so now my brain just starts kind of looking at how can I arrange these things? She's naughty, right? She's naughty. She just had some fun. Okay, sorry, it's Friday. And then, so I think I like the idea of having the birds down here on the bottom. Kind of to Marlo's point, they're looking up at the angels. So imagine like this clock right here. It's going to be see-through. So you're going to be able to see the angels flying through the back. And I like that also. The other thing is, do I want things to overlap? So do I want these? I'm going to move these flowers down here. So like imagine if I had the Eiffel Tower here, and let me point you guys in the right direction. So right here, if I have the Eiffel Tower here and the birds can overlap, there's no reason why they can't. There could be a couple of birds here, and then here are their companions right here. And move this flower over here, and then this is okay. Now I need to remove things and put them back on. Okay, and then this goes up here. Give me a sec here, guys. Oh, Crimson Poppy is here. I love following Crimson Poppy on Facebook, guys. All kinds of things going on Crimson's page. So yeah. Yeah, I usually have 5 or 6 going on at a time, and it is driving me a little bit nuts for sure. Hey, Dee. Dee is saying hi to everybody. Everybody say hi to Dee. Okay, so anyways, so now what if this was up here in the corner? So now if you look, you can see I've got that dark one in the corner, and I've got it kind of bookended with the Eiffel Tower down here. And I got the birds. And then I could put flowers in the middle to connect. Okay. Oh, we got some other people showing up. Now, push podcast with Rosie. Rosie's Cottage. I just sent you some things in the mail the other day, right? I think you're out of Florida. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I thought you looked familiar. So this piece is, oh, and she's saying hi to you, Dee. So this piece right here, I've been working on it for it's been a couple of months. So it started off as this is actually upcycled art. So it was like I don't even remember what is underneath it to tell you. I think, oh, this was a picture. It's like an IKEA picture. It was a picture, black and white photo of a dock. So like a dock going into water. And so I've painted over it with a bunch of different colors. And then I stamped it with these angels are from the stamp Heavenly. And then these yellow swirls right here are also from that. And now I'm using Brocante, the transfer Brocante to finish it because it's Finish It Friday. So what I'm doing is now I'm just trying to figure out my composition and what I want to have on here. Like I know I want her, the naughty girl, naughty lady. And then I know I want these big flowers. So like, is it a garden? I'm just trying to create, so let's move her back. So I'm trying to figure out, and I don't want these big, ginormous flowers right next to each other, but I do like the idea of this kind of coming up here. And I can find, so for this flower right here, one of the things with IOD is that, see how that stem ends there? I would kind of like it to look like it's going through, so it kind of disappears behind the bird. It's not just floating, right? I can go grab another transfer or even, from something different and cut it out and make it look like the stem right there. So I'm not worried about those kind of things. And then I've got this big flower right here. Now I could decide to put these guys together so that they're kind of close like this. Maybe they look like they're in a garden and the birds are down below. And then maybe I'm moving this clock in a little bit closer down here. And I'm trying to think of the composition. So I'm trying to figure out like, how do I want this to be pleasing to the eye? And I've got these two transfers right here. They could totally just like be in the corner. This right here could kind of even go all the way up. Could do something like this over. No, that doesn't really go. But I could do something with this kind of, and like I said, and like make it look together. I'm kind of liking this composition here where these big flowers are together. And I'm liking how it flows from the Eiffel Tower to these flowers. You got the birds along the bottom. You got the black and white clock over here. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get going. I'm going to start with the Eiffel Tower and this flower right here. And then I'm going to be putting the birds on top. So that's my thinking for now. And we'll see where this takes us. Yeah, so it's not a tray. Yeah, it's definitely upcycling. I've been working on, all right, we're just going to do a quick little turnaround here. So I've been upcycling. These are two other pieces, panels I got from Buy Nothing. You guys have probably heard me talk about Buy Nothing. But I just started putting my leftover paint on these, and what I'm going to do, it's a secret, don't tell anybody, but I'm prepping pieces for when I get the new IOD release. When those products come in here, I need to have things like this ready to go so I can take things and put it on top. So we'll leave it at that. But I got that from Buy Nothing, and I got this other piece over here that I'm working on from Buy Nothing. So like Buy Nothing is my go-to. If you guys haven't heard of it, you should definitely check it out. All right, let's get transferring. If you guys have any questions, throw them on in to the channel here. Let me push this back a little bit. Okay, we're gonna come over here. If you haven't used transfers before, I remember the first time I used a transfer, it was like magic. Clock in the middle. Yeah, I started off with the clock in the middle, but I'm not sold on it yet. But I'm also not there yet, right? So I'm gonna get going here, and I'm gonna move my little birds out of the way. I'm gonna move them over here on top of the clock. I'm gonna move the big flowers over. And we're gonna start here with the Eiffel Tower. Very pretty. Now, this is gonna be, if you haven't done transfers before, you're gonna see how it's kind of blocking out the background. And so when I take the transfer off, I'm holding it carefully. See, now that's gonna all shine through. It's gonna be super cool. I'm trying to look at where I want this top part up here to end. Okay, I like that because right here I've got the angel's face is kind of coming through that little window right there. So I'm committing to this. There are words down here on the bottom, and I'm gonna keep the words. We might be having some words floating around here. Who knows? All right. So let me see here. If I turn this light off, I see you guys have a bit of, yeah, no glare. Okay, that's probably better. All right, so I'm smoothing it down. It's not actually quite straight. So there's grid lines on this. Let me see if I can lift this up carefully. I was not paying attention to that, and I don't want this to look like it's leaning at all. So I haven't cut the bottom here, so I know that's a straight line. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it right up to the bottom of the frame right here. So I have a straight Eiffel Tower. Now I don't have that angel's head anymore, but that's okay. I think that's too close to the bottom. So I'm moving it up and I'm just eyeballing it here. And I'm going to move it over. I really did like her face in that little window right there. Let's see. So I just need to make sure it's pretty straight. All right. There we go. Has anybody here been to Paris and seen the Eiffel Tower in person? Let me know in the comments. I'll come over and check them in a second. All right. So now what I'm doing is I'm starting at the top up here. And can you guys see that, or am I blocking? Move the camera a little bit so you guys can get a better look. Okay. I just cracked it. It's okay. It's okay. Oh gosh, look what I did. I got like a little wave going. All right, that's all right. Don't flip out, Sharon. It's not flip out Friday. It's finish it Friday. It's okay because I can do something with that. I'll show you guys what I mean in just a second. All right, let's just finish this. All right. I'm usually not so sloppy. I'm usually pretty good at transfers at this point. All right. It shifted a little bit and I moved it back into position. Yeah, I probably have about a total of 6 projects going on right now myself. And there's just some. The reason I'm not, it is like shiny shiny object syndrome where I get an idea for something else and I start that idea. And the other thing too, guys, is I've been not good with my 10 minutes a day for art the last couple of weeks. And so I'm not making as much progress as I usually do through projects. I didn't even think of that until just now. Oh, well. Okay. Let's get in here. Almost done. Good old Paris. I'm watching the Dior show on Apple. It's fascinating. If you guys aren't watching it, well, it's entertaining, but it's also eye-opening. It's Paris during the occupation of World War II, and I did not know that Coco Chanel was working with the Nazis. That was news to me. All right, look at this. That is so pretty. Let me move you guys in closer here. All right, let's take a close look, guys. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. Do you guys see that okay? Let me put it a little bit closer. All right. So now I messed up a little bit up here. I was not paying attention. And so there's like a little bit of a crack there. It's the kind of thing that it's going to be an eyesore to me, but I know that most people, when they look at the total picture, they're not going to see it. So I'm not gonna stress too much about it. And now I'm just using this paper and I'm burnishing it down gently like that. Okay, we've got that. Let's come over here. Let me take a little break and see. We've got OJNF, who I believe is Olga. Hello, Olga. Oh, can you guys see each other's comments? They're popping up on the screen, right? I don't need to come in here and share this like I am, because you guys are. This is a new. I'm using a new platform here to stream to you guys. So I did not realize that you guys could do that before. Never done inlays before. Nice tower. Oh yeah, inlays are awesome. Let me know with your next order. I can send you a sample. But none of this is inlays. This is transfers and stamps. So, which are awesome. Okay, let me get back here. So now we got our tower down, and I know this flower over here is going to be next. And if you're just joining, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have any questions. So this flower right here, it's going to be behind the birds like the Eiffel Tower, and it's about the same height as the Eiffel Tower. Let me point you guys at what I'm doing. So I know I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to have it go all the way up to the top like that. And then I've got these other flowers right here, and I'm going to move them a little bit lower. Do I want to do lower, or do I want these up high and this one lower? I like that. I like this movement, right here. So I'm going to do that. And now I'm thinking about layering. So do I want these flowers in the background and this in the foreground, because this is going to cover some of it? Or do I want, no, I do not want that. I want this one on top of this one. Okay, so that means I'm going to start with this transfer here. And I'm going to pop this up just a little bit. Okay. And when do you guys think about having it kind of cross over the Eiffel Tower? Should it be touching it just a tiny bit, or should that be standalone? I'm gonna have birds over it down here. I'm gonna have a couple of birds on it down here. So I'm gonna just actually not do anything to block the top. So I'm gonna go. Now it's time for this transfer. Okay. Sorry. Here we go. This is going to be, I'm lining it up. So I haven't cut the top, and the top is, you can see the grid here. And I know since this is I haven't cut it or anything, I know it's a straight edge. So I can just line it up here. Not that it would matter. If I wanted to put it at an angle, I could do that. I could do something like that. Huh, I kind of like that. Kind of like it not being straight up and down. Okay, so we're going to go with that. And for me to do that, I just need to cut this corner a little bit so it's not going to be busting up against the side of that frame. Okay. And so now you can see like the angels behind and how what's going to be peeking through. Right here, this rose is covering this angel's face. I'm not sure if I like that too much. So if I just move it just a little bit. Yeah. So the way that I have it right now, I have an angel face here. I have an angel face here. And I have an angel face up there. So I like that. I like them kind of peeking through. I think it makes it easier for your brain to kind of piece together the different layers that are going on. Okay, so now I'm smoothing it down with my hand. And this time I'm going to try and be a little bit more careful with my transfer. If you guys haven't used a transfer, they all come with this stick. I forget what they're called, a transfer stick. And I'm just smoothing it down. Probably don't need to do that, but it's like one of those little things I like to do. All right. And I'm starting at the tippy top with the top 3 elements up here, these flowers. If you can hear that noise, it's like a crackling noise. That is the transferring. Listen to this. You hear that noise? Okay. All right. My sister said she might join tonight. So if somebody named Kathy comes on with a C, starts talking smack, that's my sister. And everything she says is probably, exaggerated. Okay, so let's keep focusing on the transfer. I feel like I need to talk constantly while I'm doing the lives. Usually I'm listening to a book and just kind of in my own little world. So sorry if it seems like I'm nonstop over here. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. You don't need me. You guys are getting to know each other. All right. Let's see here. That is coming along good. Yeah, I'm liking Finish It Friday. I'm gonna finish something. Okay, let's see here. All right. Whoops, sorry for my elbow there. I forgot that there was a camera in the room. How did that happen? All right, now I'm gonna come in over here. Work on this rose. There we go. You get an arm workout. Okay. It is going on easy. It's just a lot of, it's going on easy. I put a top coat on this. I know some people say with DIY paint, you don't need a top coat, but I always find it just goes on better when I have a top coat. Even when it's not, I sell DIY, but even with anti-slime chalk paint, just, it makes it easier. And there's less mistakes too. Okay, here we go. Did anybody make something and finish it this week? Let me know in the comments. All right. You can see it's coming through. There we go. I love bright colors. It's the first time I ever used Brocante. I put it on a black desk. I had painted it black, and it looked really pretty. It was very sophisticated. I gave it away on Buy Nothing. A woman got it. I think she might have been like newly divorced, and she was telling me how she wanted a place, she was setting up like a special place to write, and it was like the perfect desk for her. But it was a very, for me, it was like, I liked it. It was a very good way to demonstrate how good Brocante can look. Sorry. I like bright colors, so I like to see how transfers come across on. I'm not a subdued person, Subtlety is not my thing. Ask my teenagers. Actually, my daughter's not a teenager anymore. She just turned 20, so can't ask her. Well, you could ask her, but who knows what she would say. She probably would agree because she takes after me. She is also not a subtle person. I do not like being subtle, because not only because I'm not good at it, but I just like to get to the point, I don't like wasting time, and and it's just hard for me to do. Okay, we are almost done with this transfer. I'm just trying to get these leaves down here. All right. Get my elbow out of the way. All right. When you get the hang of transfers, you can figure out like the little things I'm doing right here. So I'm gonna put some resistance between the transfer and this tool right here. You see that, how they're just going right on down? All right, let's do it right here. There we go. Beautiful. Gosh, the pink and the angels make these flowers have like a blush of pink. Like it's drawn, like they were already there when I was just looking at them by themselves. They looked white, but with the pink in the background, it is like gently drawing out like the blush in the flowers. It's really pretty. All right, I'm gonna burnish this a little bit, and we are done with that flower. Okay. Now come back over here and see what you guys have been saying. Because I'm nosy like that. Okay, you haven't done transfers either. Yeah, you will like them. Yeah, decoupage is a lot of fun. I like it all, People think I'm abrasive because I'm so direct. Yeah. I grew up on the East Coast, and so there's like sarcasm that kind of comes into the conversation, and that East Coast humor. But yeah, I don't know. I was never good at it when I was younger, and it wasn't a skill that made any sense to me. All right, now we're going to do our second flower. And remember, I want this one right here to overlap with that just a little bit. And do you see, I mean, to me, that looks really white, but I bet we're going to see the pink kind of get drawn out in this one too. All right, so let's figure out placement for these flowers. This is going to be so pretty. It's going to be very happy. It's going to be a happy piece of art. Okay. So now we want to figure out composition here. I kind of want the birds going across this stem right here. So I'm making it this a little bit lower, but these two are just like banging heads right now. So I'm like, maybe it should come up, or do I want it even lower? Maybe it's just the leaves, it's just the leaves, but but it looks kind of like, I want this to be lower down. I want to draw the eye. Okay, so maybe it's like this. Like this? No. You know what? I am not liking those rosebuds right there, and I can cut them off. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I can always, I can hear Marla screaming. I can always put these back on if I want to. All right. For now, we're just going to move them up here. And now I can see what this looks like without those buds. I see I have buds over here. I like this more. Yeah, I like this much more. Okay, so, because like there's just this movement, and I like that movement. I don't know what other word to use, so we're going with movement. Okay, and then down, I have a little bit of, I'll point my camera down so you can see. There's here, the bottom is kind of going off. I can tuck that in down to the bottom, and I can see that it right here is that line where it just happens to meet the edge of the paper. So I'm cutting that right there. And I'm going to grab this white paper again, and I'm just putting these on the white paper to stay safe and hope that they don't stick to anything else. And I'm going to tuck them off to the side because I probably will need them later. All right. And now we come to the fun part of the project where I need to find my clear stick. If you've done, oh, here it is. I'm talking about this right here. I always lose these because they're clear. I wish they would make them like bright pink or something. Or you know what? Put the IOD logo on this stick, because then it will be easy to see, right? Imagine the IOD logo here in black. It'd be hard to be less hard to lose it. Yep. So Kathy, New Jersey Kathy. We'll just call you NJK. All right, let's come back to here and let's put these flowers on, this flower on. And so it's kind of covering that stem, which is what I wanted it to do anyways. Well, I wanted something to do. I can see my angel face here. I can see my angel face here. I am covering this angel over here. I'm not going to risk moving it. That's okay. We got some angel wings popping through. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so now I'm just smoothing it down with my hand. And I do this. I don't know if I need to do this. It just feels good. As the kids say, it feels satisfying. And I'm starting at the toppest point up here. And I kind of try and make my way all the way down. I'll go into sections, but I'll get to here. And all of this should be transferred down to the painting on the bottom there. All right, let's get going. Starting at the tippy top. And again, this is like a little bit of like let me move this so I'm not going to knock it over. Up here is where I want you guys to be looking at. Okay, so let me just put it a little bit more. There we go. So I start up here and I can hold this. There's tension between this paper and my little transfer stick. I'm trying to get the transfer to take that like initial first grab onto the back there. There we go. Some transfers are easier than others. I found the hardest one I've ever done was Midnight Garden. For some reason, that one was, and maybe it was because I didn't have, the top coat on I was just talking about. But this is going on pretty easy. Someone needs to like start suggesting songs that go with this piece of art I'm working on. Something French. Does anybody know French? Did anybody say if they've actually been to Paris before? It's on my bucket list. I'm talking with one of my best friends about going there when it's my 60th and her 55th. And we travel the wine country with a focus on the, starts with a B, not Burgundy, something, I don't know, Bovolo, I forget. She knows. She's been there before. I have not been to France or that part. I've been into London. I flew into London in, that's like 1999, and met my sister there. And we rented a car, and the flat that we were staying in London got robbed. Somebody broke in and they took my dirty underwear. Yes, they did. They took my dirty underwear. They took a bunch of weird stuff. Like they knew to take our hostess that we were staying with, like they found it and they took it. They took her really good alcohol. So like her collection, this is like right at the beginning of the .com years. And she had this wonderful collection of liquor and wine. And like they took all the best stuff and left the cheap stuff. They took my sister's glasses. They took some makeup. They took weird things. Anyways, we did that and then survived that. We weren't there when it happened. And then my stupidest thing I've ever done, probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done in my entire life, was renting a car in the middle of London so that we could drive first to Stonehenge. So, of course, in London, they drive on the other side of the road as we do, and they have stick shifts, right? Everything's stick shift. And I hadn't driven a stick shift like in 20 years. And I had never been through a roundabout before. So it was a great combination. And I hope that, what is it called? Like when the time goes by and you can't be prosecuted. But I definitely hit a few cars on trying to get out of London. I went straight through, like they were parked and I didn't sideswipe them. I knocked off a couple of side view mirrors. And I had no way. I had no idea where I was. I'm the kind of person that will go back and leave a note on your car. But I had no idea where I was. I had no idea how to get back. This is like in the days where you had paper maps. And it took us forever to get to Stonehenge because we kept getting lost and turned around. And I didn't know it was just stupid, right? It took us forever to get to Stonehenge. We got there right as it was closing. So it was beautiful. And this is in the days before they had roped it off. So you could go right on up to it and touch it, which, of course, my sister and I did. And we were kind of winging it. Like we were staying at youth hostels. And so you could kind of just show up and, into a town and find a place to stay or a bed and breakfast. I had like a what's his name? Steve Ricks, or is it Rick Steves? I had his guide to Scotland, England, Scotland, and Ireland. So from there we stayed the night near Stonehenge, and then we drove up to Edinburgh. We had a blast there. We went up to a little town called Glencoe. And so we stopped along all these places where a lot of fights had happened, a lot of battles. And there was one place, I'm totally blanking on the name of it, where a battle happened. I think it was kind of close to Glencoe. But there was also this famous story in Glencoe of the Campbells. So if you're the Campbells clan, you're not to be trusted in Scotland. You're a bad apple. Or bad something, but how they came out from the hills and like basically butchered everybody. I don't know, some horrible story that it was like from over 200 years ago. And they just loved telling that story to us everywhere we went. And then we ended up meeting some local boys and going to a local pub where they had karaoke, and it was one of the best nights of my life. Like I can still picture the people up on stage. I mean, so drunk and singing karaoke and just having so much fun. It was a blast. My sister met this young man named Biscuits. And if you want to know how Biscuits gets his name, then email me and I'll tell you, but it's not appropriate. I might offend some people. And I don't want to do that. But it's a funny story. And we had a great time with Biscuits. Well, my sister did. And then we were in Scotland. We were staying at this very proper bed and breakfast owned by like this couple. I mean, at that point, I would have called them old, but they probably were about the age I'm at right now. And we were at a pub and I was showing off my Palm Pilot. And if you know what that is, that was like the precursor to all the smart devices we have today. And the Palm Pilot is where you could, get your email and you could see your calendar. You couldn't call anybody with them, but was somebody at the pub wanted to see it because I had never seen one before. And I was Miss Fancy Pants from San Francisco, love to show off. And I was showing him my Palm Pilot. I was like, oh, look, it says it's Friday. That must be because of the time difference, but it's because it's Thursday. And he's like, no, love, it's Friday with the Scottish R. It's Friday. And I was like, no, because if it was Friday, I would be in Dublin. And he was like, well, Lassie, I don't know what to tell you. I can't do the Scottish accent that well, at least while I'm sober. But I end up figuring out that it is Friday. And we were my mom is flying internationally for the first time ever. She's leaving the United States. She's supposed to meet us in Dublin. And her maiden name was Cronin. So very Irish, always wanted to see Ireland. Her dad was from Ireland. And she's a very proud Irish person. And she's also very scared about traveling by herself internationally. And she had sent me several emails expressing that concern. Yeah, as soon as my mom got hold of emails, it was an interesting new stage in life. But anyways, I couldn't find my sister anywhere. I finally found her. She and like Biscuits had gone off somewhere. And I, was like, hey, we got to go because it's Friday. And she's like, no, it's Thursday. I'm like, no, I thought it was Thursday too, but it's Friday. And we had to be in Dublin by tomorrow morning. And it was late. It was already like 9 p.m. So we get into the rental car. It's this white rental car. And she says, goodbye to Biscuits. And we start driving and I get us lost. And I don't know, it was like an all-night drive south through Scotland to Holyhead. And Holyhead has a ferry where we can drop off the rental car and the ferry goes to Dublin. And I won't tell you all the details of the drive that night, but it was a long night. And my sister finally falls asleep and I'm driving through the countryside in Holyhead. And then this part of the story, I really hope I don't offend anybody with it. Oh, let's just take a quick break here. I'm probably talking too much. All right, this looks so pretty. Okay, so we got our flowers down. What do you guys think? Okay, I got my stem here and I got the petals still. I don't know if I need them right now. Okay, I'm going to put those back. Okay, let's look at it from this way. That looks really pretty. Okay. Let's come back here. We know we want the birds. I don't want this line lining up to this right here. So I'm going to move the birds up a little bit. I'm going to move them up and over like this. And then where are the rest of my birds? Here, birdie, birdie. Okay, here it is. And that's, the birds are going to be covering up the greens. That's okay. And this can go here. And then we'll have the clock here. So it's not quite the middle. It's a little bit off center. Okay, I like it. Decoupage the stick. That is a great idea. That is a good idea. But you know what? It would probably come off the stick and then get all over your hands and then probably be messy. So yeah, it's turning out really pretty. I'm loving it. Okay, so let's get back to our birds. I'm gonna step away for just 1 second over here to turn off the heater in my room because it is hot. All right, let's come back over here to our sweet little birds. I'm gonna push these off to the side. I'm gonna put that up there and I'll continue my story. This is one of the stories, like, you know, as you get older, it's like the story like you love telling. And you start editing things out as you get, until you get to know people. So I'm not telling you guys everything because I don't want to scare anybody off. Okay, let's see here. Well, I mean, what can I say? I was like a 25-year-old in London and in Scotland and then soon in Dublin with my mom. So you can imagine, you know, 25-year-old having fun. My sister was having more fun, but you know, that's what younger sisters do. Okay, let's look at these birds. I do like them over the green. I think that's pretty. I want them, how much do I want them crossing over with the Eiffel Tower? Gosh, maybe not at all. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should they be touching the Eiffel Tower? It kind of feels like you need to be all in. Like, it's not just touching. It's like, and we got like these two lines going on right here. I don't know if I like that or not. I kind of don't want the Eiffel Tower to be covered up that much. So now I'm just going to have them, you know, I think it's fine if it's close. I could do higher. No, I'll make it kind of, see, because I can always come in down here with some words. Kind of carry the words here if I want to. I kind of like it just a little bit. Got an angel face there. Okay, let's look at it like that. I don't know why I like those angel faces showing up so much. All right, I think that works. And then there will be enough room for the big clock. Okay. All right, not touching, Kathy says. Yeah. Yeah, not touching. Yep. Yep, it seems to be the consensus. Oh, Cindy's here. Hey, Cindy. Rosie's working, painting while she's doing it, not touching. Yeah. And then we got Fern, aka Deanna. Deanna or Dina, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Yeah, is here. Awesome. Okay, let's get back to the birds. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you the part of the story that you guys probably, if you're animal lovers, maybe just put it on mute. I am an animal lover, and but this something happened that was completely bizarre and beyond my control. And here's that story. So my sister Kathy had fallen asleep. I was doing all the driving. I don't think she had a license. I think she was like a city girl still at the time and took public transport everywhere. But anyways, we're driving and the sun is coming up. And I'm on a part of this long country road. And there's no houses. There's like stone fences to my left and like a forest to my right. And I'm driving east towards the rising sun. So it's hard to see. And I feel this kind of like thump, like I went over a speed bump or something. I'm trying to catch the ferry, right? We're running late. If I miss the ferry, there's a good chance I'll never hear the end of it from my mom, who will beat us to Dublin. So I'm driving, and I start seeing in the road these really bizarre shadows as the sun is coming up. And I cannot tell for the life of me what it is. And I'm wearing contacts. And so it's again 1999, and it's old-fashioned contacts, and they're sticking to my eyeballs and all this stuff. And there's a couple more thumps, and then the shadows in the road start to move a little bit. And I'm like, what the heck am I looking at? And I am not joking. There were hundreds of rabbits in the road. Hundreds. They would not move out of the way. They were like in the road. They were standing there. And I thought I was like, I'm like so tired, and I've been having so much fun. I'm like hallucinating these rabbits, right? And so I just start driving. I'm like, we're really out of it. I need to get on the ferry and go to sleep. And then my sister wakes up and she's like, what's that noise? And I'm like, oh, do you hear that too? And she's like, what's the noise? And she's like, what are we running over? And I was like, I think it's rabbits. And she's like, what? I was like, well, do you see rabbits? Like, I see rabbits. And she was like, she looks out the window and she rubs her eyes and she's like, pull over. I'm like, no, we got to catch the ferry. And she's like, pull over now. And we pull over, and she gets out of the car. And sure enough, I have run over several rabbits. And they were still right there, right where we pulled over. They were still there. They weren't scared of us. They weren't running away. They were and they were big, and they had long ears. Like, I hadn't seen anything like this before here in the United States. So she's like, I can't believe you're running over rabbits. And I was like, I seriously did not think that there were really rabbits there. I really thought it was just, my imagination. and so we get back in the car, and she's like, go slow. And she saw, even when I was just taking it out of neutral, or putting it into neutral, whatever it is on the stick, that she could see that they just weren't getting out of the way. And I was like, I'm sorry, but we have to catch this ferry. Like, I would rather run over some rabbits that won't move than incur the wrath of Betty, my mom. And so I went. My sister was not happy with me. I think she was a vegetarian at the time too. Probably made it even worse. But I had to catch the ferry. So, oh, look at that. It just came right on off. So anyways, we made the ferry. The rental car was a mess. I felt really bad, but I was also really scared of not getting to Dublin in time to meet my mom, because my mom was, I don't know. I really don't know how to describe my mom. She recently passed away, but I really wanted to make my mom happy on this trip, and I did not want her upset because we weren't there. Like, I knew she was scared, but she wouldn't say she was scared. So anyways, that is the London, Scotland, and then of course stories continue from there. But they're more my mom's and my sister's stories. Okay, so now if I keep the birds here going straight, are they straight? See, now I'm using my stick to kind of measure things, right? So here is where they are on their perch, and it's kind of going up a little bit. So the angle is wrong. Now, can I carefully lift this up? Carefully. Ugh, I can't. Okay. I'm gonna mess up too much of the transfer. It's okay. We'll figure it out. And it's like, one of those things where naked eye, I mean, look, I literally have to measure it to see it be off by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm not going to stress out too much about it. Okay. Yep. So never been to Paris. Probably a good thing. But I do plan on going there at some point. Let's see what kind of Thanks so much, guys. Oh gosh, we are over an hour. My goodness. So yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, you, Rosie knew what was coming. Oh gosh, who gave me bunnies? Rosie. Yep. Imagine that on a white rental car. Oh yeah. It was like horrifying. I don't know. It was like out of a movie. What can I tell you? It was horrifying, but at the same time, I was more horrified of my mom if I didn't get to Dublin in time. And so my mom ended up beating us to the hotel by like 10 minutes, maybe, right? And so I'm scared. And we get to Dublin and it's dumping rain and we need to catch a cab to the hotel. So I had told my mom um, that if she bought her ticket to Ireland, her airplane ticket, I would pay for the rest of her trip. Like I said, it was late 90s. I was making really good money in the dot-com days. And I, of course, wanted to, like, show my mom a good time, but also brag a little bit, like, I'm doing so good. I can take my mom on a trip to Ireland. And so she had bought her ticket herself. And the hotel that we were staying at was a castle. It's like one of the few castles in the Dublin area. I think it was on a golf course too. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But I call the hotel because it was the day before cell phones. I call the hotel and I speak to this young woman. Actually, I think her name was Olga. And I was like, Olga, has Betty Dawson checked in yet? And she was like, in a German accent, she was like, yep, she checked in about 10 minutes ago. And I was like, oh my God. And I said, can you please call the room and whatever she wants, give it to her. So like if she wants tea or coffee or if she wants whiskey, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't care. Just make sure she's taken care of. Like she hasn't traveled internationally before. And could you please let her know that we're in Dublin, our ferry just landed and we'll be there in about 20 minutes. And so Olga was kind enough to help. And we got to the hotel. We got to the room my mom was in. She flung open the door and she goes, I knew you wouldn't be here when I showed up. And I was like, oh my God, lady, you have no idea. But we ended up having a great trip. One of my favorite memories of my mom and I, we never got along. Never, never, ever, ever. But one of my favorite memories of my mom was on this trip. And so my dad had passed away about 5 years before that. And I think she was seeing her boyfriend she had started seeing somebody, I think about that time. It doesn't really matter anyways. But anyways, in Ireland, they're big smokers. And I cannot stand cigarette smoke. Both my mom and my sister smoked. So they had no problems with it, right? So I would last maybe an hour in a pub and I would have to call it quits because it stung my eyes, it hurt my lungs, all the things. And so one night, somewhere in Ireland, I don't know where, I decided I'm just going to hang out here in the room and I'll go to the pub later so that I can join them like mid festivities. And I show up at this pub and I walk in. So my mom's got to be like 60. She was like 60 at the time. Yeah, early 60s. So close to the age I'm at right now. And I walk in and my mom's holding a cigarette and there are literally 3 men fighting to light her cigarette. Like they're all struggling with their lighters to light her cigarette. And my mom had the happiest look on her face that I've ever seen in my entire life, except for maybe the day my sister Kathy got married. And I was like, this is why they have so much fun. They're out here flirting with all the Irish guys. Every new place we went to, my sister met somebody. I don't know. I was dating somebody at the time, so I was all prim and proper. But now that I look back, that was really stupid. I should have enjoyed myself too. Okay, here's the birds. So pretty. I can hear them singing. They're singing en français. You can tell that it's a little bit crooked, but that's just me because I know to look for it. All right, let's do like a little sweep here. I don't know, guys. I've been going for, well, I want to get the clock on. I want you guys to see the clock. And then I promise I'm going to finish it today. And I'll post a picture of what it looks like online with the rest of it. Yeah, it's pretty. So definitely the pink and the yellow are very domineering. And fight with the birds here a little bit. So what I usually do in circumstances like this is I'll come in, it's called stippling, and I'll take my brush and I'll get some dark or light. I'm not sure what I'll do here. Probably dark. Like something that maybe it's like, see how like the dark along the rim of the leaves here? And it's called stippling. And then, so I take like this old brush that I have and I'll dip it into paint and then I'll offload the paint on a paper towel and I'll just come in here and do like little dots is basically what it is. And I'll do it around the whole line of birds here. Like I could just do it along the bottom and it gives it like a little bit of a drop shadow, for example, but it won't be competing with the hot pink angels in the background is the main thing. I mean, I could even come in here with this blue that I used and I know which blue it is and I could I use it without the white and do that too. But I do like the idea. I kind of like the idea of a dark gray, greenish color in here. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. This is obviously not going to be finished at Friday for the birds. All right, let's do this clock. I know I want this clock in here. I've got these little pieces over here. I'm moving them off to the side. So now the challenge is with this clock, do I want it? I still want it here in the middle. I like it there. And there's still this big gap right here, right guys? But I have I mean, it's not, there's so much I can do with that over here, right? I got these flowers. I'm not worried about that gap. And I like the flow. So we're talking about the flow. So if you look over here, I know it's hard to see. Let me see if I can just pick the camera up a little bit. So there's this flow, right? And it just kind of keeps going with the clock. So there's just like this flow that comes up here and pops up. And I'm going to definitely have something up here and something down there. And then the other way that I look at this composition wise is I have 4 elements. I've got the Eiffel Tower. I've got these flowers. That's the second element. I've got these birds. That's element number 3. And that's number 4. So I'm like the even odds person. I'm going to want to have one big element over here that makes it 5, or I'm going to have a few different elements that maybe are not attached to each other so they don't read as a single element. But I want to I'll get to 7. I'll get to like, I will have 3 things over here. And my guess is now that I'm looking at this, something might overlap the clock a little bit. All right, let's do the clock. And thank you guys so much who have been sticking around with me. Your comments are funny. Poor thumpers. Yep. They did not die in vain. They did not die in vain. I mean, like, I was like later on, okay, I literally talked about this with my therapist because I felt so bad about it. It was like Watership Down. Did you guys read that book? Where it just reminded me of like a scene out of Watership Down where it was like those rabbits did not want to live. I don't know how else to say it. It sounds horrible. But. All right, so now we got our clock. That looks so cool. Do I want it overlapping with the flowers? Let's see. Let me get you guys in closer there. See, all I can read right now is this. It's hard for you guys to see it, but I'm like, the line is crooked. I know. Okay. The other thing I'm reading here too is like this stem is like right in the middle of this line right here. I would have liked it a little bit more offset, but again, fine. It's just the little things my eyes are picking up now. I like it overlapping with the flowers, but not so much. Like there's this line out here. So I'm gonna push this over carefully a little bit more. And it's going over the greenery down here. And it's off center, which is good. Okay, so I like that there. All right, let's do this clock. All right, deep breath. Let me take a sip. Got a sip of some cold tea here. All right. Yeah, so loved Ireland. Love Scotland. I love Scotland more. I would have stayed in Scotland longer if we didn't have other plans. All right, so this is a circle. I'm just starting here on the left-hand side. I don't think I ever told my mom about the rabbits. I don't think she would have believed me. All right, stop laughing and start paying attention. I shifted it a little bit, so I just need to make sure that these lines are back in place. And the way that I can tell that is like what I've done before is I've got the transfer going along the top of the frame up here. So I know it's a straight edge against a straight edge. So I know I'm set. I just need to be quiet maybe and focus. All right. I'll be really curious to see how the black, how it looks against the yellow and the pink here. There we go. If you've used Brocante Transfer before, tell me how you used it in the comments or share with other people watching here. Because like I've the first Brocante transfer I ever got, I used it like on 20 different things. Like there's a lot in there. The desk was one of the main things, but then I had so much left over for smalls. All right, I've shifted again. I'm gonna shift it back. Whoops, gosh darn it. Okay. If you guys are kind of new to me, you may not know that when I first started doing lives, I would drop, and I still do, but I just say underneath my breath, but I do like dropping the F-bomb when I mess things up. And it usually involves paint. I've done something with paint. I've made a mess or something with paint. But I'm wearing this new fancy mic now, and I think I can't even say any bad words underneath my breath because you guys will hear it. Okay. Let's come up here. There we go. That's the sound we're looking for, that crackling noise. We have numbers flying across the angel here. It's going to look really cool because the numbers kind of like match the wing. It's going to be like one of those things that looks like you did it on purpose, but I actually did not, and now it looks crazy cool. Whoops, sorry. Sorry for my elbow. All right, here we go. All right, this one is taking some elbow grease. Try and come in on it from this angle over here. Here we go. All right. I want to do the letters and these inner numbers. Oh gosh. This is like I haven't done a transfer, something like a circular shaped transfer before. So I feel like I should be focusing on the inside. All right, let's do that. But if I go to France with my friend Mary, it'll be a different kind of trip. I don't think either one of us wants to drive at this point in a country that I'm not as brave or / stupid as I was when I was younger. All right. Getting these inner circle, smaller numbers here, and they're a little bit harder transfer wise. And if I miss little bits and pieces, I can always put the transfer back down on top of it and rub it down. So it's not a missed opportunity. But I wanted to do them first because I want to make sure that they're all, like I don't want it to shift and be off a little bit. I think that would be really noticeable. Okay. Let's see. Now you can layer transfers. So here I'm layering this in several places. So it doesn't, you can, I did not realize that when I first started using transfers. If you ever majorly mess up with your transfer, like if there's just something you're like, oh, people are going to see that, take a butterfly, slap it on. It'll cover up your mistake and you got a butterfly out of it. I could put a butterfly flying through this clock. Actually, I think that might look really cool. All right, come in here. Oh my gosh, this clock. I think I burned like 50 calories. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're almost done with this. If you've been watching this long, just stick around till I'm done with the clock. All right. Almost there. We are almost there, people. Ugh. It's one of the things too as I get older. Standing over at a desk and doing this, like, it's not doing my back any favors right now. I'm getting old. All right. I actually had this great email the other day from a woman. She's 76 and painting furniture. She's so happy. All right. She sent me a picture of herself and she's like, sitting on the ground, painting things. And I was just like, oh gosh, I want to be you. That's me in 20 years, please. She just had it all going on. Okay. Let's see here. All going on in a good way. Let's see. I got a little dot right here. Let's do the reveal. Love it. What do you guys think? Oh, it looks so good. And it does look like the birds are looking up at the clock. Let's 1 second here, guys. Let's just take a wide look at it. Yeah, that looks really good. And you see how like the angel, she's not exactly in the center of that clock. She's a little bit off center. And you see how like that circle of the clock just kind of follows her wings. I don't know. Like I didn't plan that. Just as like a happy accident. But I think that's so pretty. All right. Well, this is a great stopping point. I'm going to take a break myself. I need to hydrate and use the ladies' room. But I do need to come in here, and I'm thinking 3 elements at least. And who knows, maybe I'll come back in and throw some butterflies up in here. But I'm loving this. It looks so pretty. I have to put down at least 3 more transfers. And then I do need to do something more with paint so that I'm not so worried about the the flowers and this clock or even the Eiffel Tower, but there's a lot of different colors going on in these birds. I just feel like they're competing. I don't know. Maybe I just need to step away and come back and take a look at it because it is a solid colors behind it. I'm gonna like take a breather and then come back and look at it later and after my eyes rest. I might not do that stippling I was telling you guys about underneath there. So, all right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me on Finish It Friday. I'm gonna switch cameras here so that I can give you guys a proper goodbye. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I literally worked up a sweat. Part of it's because I have the heater on in the room here right now in this sweater. But thanks so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you find some time for your art. And Deanna says, yeah, she got her stuff yesterday. Awesome. Awesome. So, oh, Deanna's putting in a plug for the Made by Marley paper. Thanks. Yes, I did tell my therapist about the rabbits because it did kind of haunt me. I mean, it's like one of those visual images that you just like, it's like the 3 men going to light my mom's cigarette. Like I can close my eyes and see it, you know? Anyways, what else? Do you have any for under the birds? Yeah. Yeah, I'll find something. Like I could have a butterfly. We have little bees and butterflies, so I will figure that out. But it is way more done than it was an hour and a half ago, gathering dust on my sofa. So, anyways, thanks again. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and share. I would really appreciate it. I have a goal for YouTube followers, and I'm close. I'm super duper close. So would appreciate any help you guys could spin my way. But yeah, I'm just looking at the art. I really love it. I really do. It's like one of those pieces where like I really don't have room for it here in my home, but I can't keep it. I want to keep it, but I don't have room unless I get rid of something else. It's always a possibility. All right. Thanks everybody again. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great weekend. I might go live again. I'll send out a text if I do. And